So hey everyone, this is Monday, June 27, 2022, the Hindu Daily edition, right? And we'll be first, as usual, identifying the most important news, followed by a detailed analysis. But before that, let's go and see answer to yesterday's question. Okay? So yesterday's question was that you needed to identify three passes, right? Three very important passes, three passes of India. And what were the three passes? Pal Ghat, Thal Ghat and Bhor Ghat. Okay, so you know these three are in Western Ghat, okay, beginning from Gujarat and moves all the way to Kerala. I'll show you on the map also. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's see on the map. Look, Thal Ghat, Bhor Ghat and Pal Ghat. So here you have your Thal Ghat, Bhor Ghat and Pal Ghat. Okay, you are clear now? You see why it is here? Let me make a better map for you. If this is the western coast of India, we have what? Let's take this color. We have Western Ghats here, like this. Okay, and then we have something like this. So here you have Pal Ghat, here you have Bhor Ghat, and here you have Thal Ghat. Okay, so now you understand why this question, because this is very important. It has been in exam number of times, so you must know it. Now today's question is that you have to identify two mountain ranges on world map. And what are those two mountain ranges? One is Caucasus and second is Apennine. Okay, so this is your homework and you have to identify it. Okay, and write in the comment box. So comment down. Okay, and then I'll tell you the answer tomorrow. Now let's move to today's news identification section. Now Shinde, okay, moves SC. Uddhav camp says rebel will be disqualified. Government council says they can be removed for anti-party activities outside house. We'll have to see what happens in this case. But it is just know the defection rule, anti-defection rule. Okay, anti-defection clauses, especially the debated one, paragraph 4. Okay. Russia strike keeps. Okay, we'll see this. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing on this page. Okay, there's nothing on this page. Okay, now we have to see this also, because it is about GTA4 polls. Okay, the Gorkhaland Tribunal and Territorial Administration polls. We have to see very basic premises on which it is based, right? Okay, okay, there is nothing here. Target certain areas of India past, causing an ideological shift. The question is, should we do this? Look, we won't have anything here in the examination. Okay, let's do this anyway. I am reluctant to do this, but okay, we'll do that. Making sense of New Delhi Taliban reapproachment. Now this should be done because it is India-Afghanistan relation. We'll do this also very briefly. Very important, bringing MSMEs into global value chain. Okay, we'll do this also. Okay. Indian laws on abortion. I think gist will be enough, but we'll see. If required, we'll do this. Protest petition. We'll do the gist. VPN, yes, there was something. VPN rules, na? We have to do this. The gist will be done. Okay. And then here begins the emergency discussions. Okay. Indian diaspora, okay. So it's essential for GST system. We'll do this very briefly, alright? Interaction does not imply conspiracy. And who says this? Okay. Okay. Now this is a case study. Case study, human animal conflict of HSE. Okay. So now we have reached the sports page. Fine, we don't have much important news here with respect to our examination. Fine, so we have done identifying the most important news. Now let's jump directly to analyze the same. Okay, so China upgrades firepower on LAC. Intelligent input site upgraded air defense system and expanded runways. Okay, so it is upgraded air defense system and expanded runway. Fine, two things have been seen or observed. Okay, in western sector, long range artillery and rocket system, upgraded air defense, expanded runway, and hardened blast pens to house fighter aircraft. These are some of the major upgrades. Okay. Fine, so China is what we say, rebuilding its strength along LAC, and India should be cautious of this. Okay, now let's move further. Today is a long read, I suppose. Election to Gorkhaland Territorial Administration in Darjeeling Hills passed off peacefully on Sunday. Okay, even as weather improved and all those things are there. Now we have to see one thing, just GTA, what it is, right? To the people to decide whether they wanted to cast their vote or not. The Bharatiya Janata Party also stayed away from the poll, calling GTA unconstitutional. Okay, so GTA is considered unconstitutional. Let's see what is GTA. Okay, let's do a quick Google search. GTA, no, not the game. Gorkhaland Territorial Administration, what it is. Let's do a Google search. It's an autonomous district council for Darjeeling and Kalimpong areas of West Bengal in India. GTA was formed in 2012 to replace Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council, which was formed in 88 and administered the Darjeeling Hills for 23 years. Okay. Let's do one more thing. Add UPSC to site. Okay, let's see. This Byju's site is there, na? Been struggling past decades and cause. Okay. Gorkhaland. Who are Gorkhas? Mix of caste and tribal ethnic, reasons for demanding a separate different ethnicity. Okay. So this is the Gorkhaland area. Okay. To empower avatar of East-West Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council in 2012. Okay, so GTA is the new avatar of this Darjeeling Gorkha Council, Hill Council. Okay, more autonomy for people, Okay. Fine. No question of fighting the election. Now it is they considered it as unconstitutional, some parties, right? Okay. Let's see the next news. So we do this editorial, op-ed and text and context page at last, right? Because it's a long list today. So we'll briefly see other news. Restoration of trust between states and center is essential for GST. Okay. System. States should get direct taxation power, extension of revenue guarantee, says chairman of the Congress Data Analytic Department. Okay. So what should state get? According to them, direct taxation power. Oh, it would never be given. Extension of revenue guarantees. It has already been given till 2026. GST compensation says has been things have been increased. So that this GST compensation can be given, right? Okay, I don't think we should read it. Why? Because it is a political party worker statement that does not corresponds to our examination, right? Okay, inaction does not imply conspiracy. Okay, so if you are not acting in something, if you are neutral, that does not imply that you have conspired against the person, right? Breach calls for evidences to show meeting of minds to commit crime. Bench calls for evidence to show meeting of minds. Okay, so there should be this mens rea to commit crime. Okay, instances of overrun which overrun a state administration, like breakdown of law and order caused by spontaneous mass violence or by second wave of pandemic, cannot be called a result of larger conspiracy hatched at a higher level of political dispensation. Okay, said in Zakia Zafri case held. The breakdown of law and the situation in the state attributes to alleged inaction of the states. Okay, duty holder owing to spontaneous mass violence cannot be safe measure to infer as being part of the criminal conspiracy at highest level of political dispensation. Okay, so it is saying that if there is a spontaneous breakdown of law in the state or in the place, then it cannot be just, it is not the sufficient condition to say that the higher political officers or the higher officers are involved in that. Okay, this is what it is. It is related to Gujarat Lloyd case, right? Okay, now let's see other. Odisha to install siren to caution elephant movement in forest. The forest department is experimenting with a siren system which would go automatically sensing elephant herd crossing the national highway to reduce human elephant encounters. Okay, this is a good initiative. Installed at 2 places. How seamless it can work to prevent encounter with wild elephant. Okay, siren system detects elephant approaching national highway by infrared sensor. They are building the program to identify the jumbos, right? Okay, so what will happen by using these sensors? The people will come to know by use of the siren that yes, elephant herd is crossing, so it's better to stop than to have a elephant human conflict. Okay, it is a good case study. Write it down in your notes, right? Okay, fine. So we have done the news analysis. Now let us go for editorial analysis, right? Rewriting old history for New India. Very briefly we'll be doing the proposed changes to history textbook, specifically target certain areas of India's past, causing an ideological shift. Fine. Let's see. Recent investigative reports bring to the light to proposal for deletion and changes to school textbook across the board. The aim is to reduce load on the school students who have suffered loss of learning. However, changes made in the history textbook specifically target certain areas of Indian past, resulting in an ideological shift. The government is currently undertaking a series of curricular change. Okay, the PSC on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports recently tabled its report. The NCERT is already in process of formulating new national curricular framework, which will direct the syllabi of Central and State Education Board. Fine, our education system, right? The report of Parliamentary Committee notes right at the beginning that school textbook in our education system remains the easiest way of sharing single narrative across millions of students through multitude of diversity that defines our country. Okay, fine. So rewrite history textbook to remove unhistorical facts and distortion about national heroes. The majoritarian political rhetoric writes on the vilification of Muslim of India as outsider and invaders. The real story of India, it argues, lies in the ancient period which it imagines as glorious Hindu past. Violence, through invasion, battles and bloodshed is seen as prime medium of change. The victorious masculine hero is celebrated and defeat is seen as ignominious emasculation. The history focuses on heroes and kings, rulers and armies, even though the craft of history writing has long moved beyond king kind of understanding. Okay, points of concern. 2 points of concern are raised. 1. This is limited and unimaginative approach to school education in general and history education in particular. The discussion, especially in table report, suggests that use of audio-visual resources and digital content through QR code would make school textbook interesting for a student. Such changes are welcome, but the pedagogic technique carriers of content. It is when students are challenged in realm of idea that education become more engaging. Okay, meaningful vehicle of change. 2. This narrative makes a demand upon a student to suspend critical thinking about world around them and reduces past to static in their imagination. For example, there is a proposal to delete the description of some of the practices of Akbar's court. This includes translation of Sanskrit texts such as Ramayana, Mahabharata and Raj Tarangini into Persian. Akbar engagement with diverse social and religious practice in empire and section of emergence of composite architecture tradition. Okay, Akbar army built a grand empire stretching from Kashmir to Deccan, from Kabul to Bengal. His court saw an assemblage of administrative, military and commanders, and learned and gifted from regions across India. From Central and West Asia, the administrative culture of the empire and its language of politics emerged out of engagements and dissension in courtly space. The traditions of Mughal court influenced the political culture of kingdom across the subcontinent. Okay, fine. Islam Akbar is presented only as an emperor who won battle. Okay, so it wants to say that both the aspect of a ruler should be shown, not only with respect to his political achievement but also his social and cultural achievements, right? The proposed change of the history textbook fit with the larger narrative of this government. In the recent speech at Delhi University, Home Minister declared that since 2014 new India is being crafted. This new India needs a new history. However, this new history makes villains of some communities and privileges a fragmented historical narrative which is subject to the demand of community sentiment. In 47, when India was emerging from shadows of colonialism, Indian historians were faced with the question of their role in the nation in making. Okay, which would create national community, on which rose above all differences. Okay, fine. Let me give my take on this. It is just saying that old history for new India, the new history for new India, okay, should not be single dimensional. Means history is not about kings and the battles and the army and the conquest. It is more than that. It is about the culture, the political, the social, religious, philosophical, every kind of science and technology in that era. Everything is included in history, right? And in that way the history should be written. And some things I see that it is, the article tries to portray itself against the government. Okay, it's her choice. There's nothing wrong in it. I don't see eye to eye with it. Yes, the government the history book can delete something that it think is not required for the time being because of the loss during pandemic. Everything should not be seen to have a pretext for it, right? Okay, making sense of New Delhi's Taliban reapproachment. As a civilizational state and an inspiring global power, India cannot behave as transactional, opportunistic salesman. Okay, so this is a good thing. As a civilizational state and inspiring global power, okay, India cannot behave as so and so. Okay, let's read it. While a growing number of Taliban, Western and regional lobbyists are distancing themselves from their victory, India pulled a rabbit out of its diplomatic hat by sending out a senior diplomat delegation to Taliban-occupied Kabul. The visit was culmination of Delhi months of quiet diplomacy and signaling. Just hours after Taliban takeover in 2021, India was the first country to immediately ban all Afghan travels to India, including students, patients with a valid Indian visa. Okay, India chose to abstain from UN Security Council, calling out Taliban to open girls' school and continues to remain silent about worsening situation in Afghanistan. India's apparent reorientation can be described and understood as an example of real politic supremacy of national interest and the superficialities of values and sentiments in Hovenian world of international politics. India's neutral stance on Russia entanglement in Europe reveals the India's vision of first India foreign policy. Yes, This is the foreign policy of every nation in this world. When Trump came to the power in USA, didn't it say that America first? Or China says that China first, or Russia says that Russia first. So why to impose all the ethics on ourselves only? Okay. However, Delhi's filtration with the Taliban raises a number of questions. What are India's key strategic interests in Afghanistan? If Afghanistan is stable, India also becomes stable. How can potential India-Taliban reapproachment advance such interest? Let me see. Wait a minute. President Hamid Karzai in Afghanistan. Okay. Okay. Now I want to make one point here, that India and Afghanistan are very intricately geographically related, and anyone who sees India's position as pulling a rabbit out of the hat should understand that geography of India and Afghanistan are so intricately related that they cannot live without one another, right? Okay. And the second thing is, Taliban, whatsoever it is chosen by the people there, right, to fight for themselves. So how can we just suspend or the representative chosen by a people? This won't be fair, right? Okay. Does the Taliban have intent or capacity to deliver on their promises? How would India engage with anti-Taliban constituencies? How will India aspire to become a global power be served by alignment with an unacceptable regime such as Taliban? Who said that they are unacceptable? I don't see eye to eye with this. Okay, fine, they are doing something that may not be correct according to you, but it is correct according to their people. Okay, then what is the problem there? India's as alliance target. Afghanistan is a security-centric concern, in particular the nexus of Islamic militancy, illicit drug and proxy warfare. India is primary target for this alliance. The Taliban victory raised two important ideological and strategic goals of militant Islamists and their Pakistani patron, establishing a pure Islamic government in the heart of Asia and securing Pakistan's strategic depth. The two concepts are necessary precondition for attaining another long-held vision of Islamist Ghazwa-e-Hind. Okay, there are both historical precedents and existing infrastructure in support of nexus of religious zealots, tribal warrior and imperial ambition. Mahmud Ghaznavi was first to recruit tribal warrior from today's Afghanistan to attack and plunder India more than 1000 years ago. The British applied the similar strategy in undermining and eventually toppling Afghanistan progressive King Ahmadullah Khan in earliest 20th century. And what happened after that? The entire Afghanistan revolted, right? It happened in 1978, right? And by 1982 or by 1980 everything was finished. And it is talking about this time now, Afghan war 19. I think it was 38, and then in 1942 what happened? We all know that that government was again toppled by the Afghanistan. So this Taliban government is, either you feel good about it or you feel bad about it, but it is chosen by the people there, not through vote, but it is chosen because these member of Taliban has rose from those people only, right? So in this way they are a kind of representative to them. Okay, democracy is not functioning here. That's it. You have to accept these things. People think that democracy is a panacea to everything. It may be, it may not be. It may not suit the culture there. And Afghan peoples look, there are only two things for Afghan. One is opium, other is war, right? And democracy is against both of them. So democracy will not, in most of the cases, be applicable or be a major kind of quality there, right? The central pillar of West anti-Soviet strategy in Afghanistan was funded and supported Mujahideen via CIA-led operation named Operation Cyclone. Pakistan's geostrategic vision of Afghanistan to create a greater Waziristan to be ruled by isolated, ruthless, dogmatic Taliban region funded by United Nations Western humanitarian assistance. In return, Greater Waziristan will become a major center for producing, training and sheltering different brands of tribal Islamic warriors for different markets. Okay. Wishful thinking. New Delhi also seems hopeful for capitalizing on personal grudge some Taliban commanders have against Pakistan, and hence wishful thinking to create India-friendly faction with Talibans. No. Again, this is going on the wrong track. Look, it is more of the mandala thinking, right? Principle or thinking, whatever you say, potato and potato, whatever it is. Mandala principle. What it is? It was given by Mandal principle. Was given by whom? It was given by Chanakya, who says the enemy of the enemy is a friend, and the neighborhood of a neighborhood of our neighbor should always be our friend, right? So Afghanistan is a neighborhood of Pakistan, so it should always be our friend, so that Pakistan could feel surrounded from at least two sides. Pakistan military intelligence establishment has shown its ruthless and efficient way in dealing with dissident, out of control and outdated proxies. The fate of Pakistan politicians such as Bhutto, Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan, or Pakistan Afghan proxies such as Gulbuddin Hekmatyar and former Taliban Supreme Leader Mullah Akhtar Mansoor showed Pakistan's zealous determination to maintain its monopoly on its proxies. India's ruling party anti-Muslim inclination have also proved additional ammunition to the advocates of Ghazwa Hind. He is focusing basically on Ghazwa Hind. Look, this is 21st century, and Ghazwa Hind may be their concept, it may be in their mind, but in practice they won't be doing this. Why? Because their national interests are more or less colliding with Indian national interests, right? They want stability, they also want stability. Taliban, when come to power, will never try to do things that they are doing now. Why? It is simply because they need acceptance of the world, or the entire world won't trade with them, right? So we have to see it in that perspective. This is a very false, this is a narration setting kind of a, what we say, article. The facts on ground are almost cited to justify realistic foreign policy justification by those who advocate engagement with Taliban. There are also other facts. The US peace agreement with Taliban ended with US half-hearted and confused hostility with Taliban. It did not, however, terminate other drivers of Afghan conflict. The following social media trends among Afghan users reveals the full picture of solo conflict. Sanction Pakistan, let Afghan girls learn, stop Hazara genocide, stop Tajik genocide, partition Afghanistan. All these things will be on hashtag only, okay. The reality is that Taliban has boots on ground in Afghanistan, and for an stable Afghanistan-India relation, we have to talk with Afghanistan. This is how the national interest collide. This is a fact. Anything else is not a fact, or it seems to be a fact, but it cannot be a fact. There are 2 or 3 things that we must understand. Afghanistan is more or less chosen, yes, in a different way, not democratically, but in a different way by the people. Second, it is the geography of Afghanistan that can be seen in their nature, the nature of the people. What do they require? Only 2 things for their survival. One is war, another is opium. The third thing is that Indian national interest is in a stable Afghanistan, be it the ruling power, be Taliban or any other democratically elected government. We cannot have an anti-Afghan with anti-Pakistan with us, or else there would be a very deep state with which we have to fight, right? So it is in our very favor that we keep Afghanistan in our side, okay, by giving money or something like that, okay. For the first time, partition of the country into Pashtun-dominated and Farsi-dominated politics has sadly become political discourse, okay. Policy of India first policy seems to drive Delhi Taliban reapproachment. So, if so, it will destroy central pillar of Indian foreign policy and foreign and security policy, the dismantling of the region's territorial infrastructure. The Taliban victory is the best product of the infrastructure. It would defy logic to be simultaneously critical of a production system while embracing its premium product. India as a civilizational state and an inspiring global power cannot behave like this. Notwithstanding India's strategic hesitancy and cautions during the last 2 decade in Afghanistan, it attended is very important benchmark of becoming ideal, ideational and trustworthy partner. Okay, many Afghan look India as an example of fellow developing nation that overcome the many challenges of building and okay. Since August 15, 2021, Afghanistan has descended from Pax Americana experiment to Pax Pakistan ambition. Look, this is not going to prosper. Why? 2 beggars coming together to say that we'll build an empire. That is not possible. You have to go to a rich person. The beggar cannot build an empire. This is a fact. And the rich person here is India. So one of the beggar has hostile relation with India, and other beggar is trying to come. I'm not saying, I'm just saying beggar because of the economic condition of both the country, right? So if this says that we are going to build for a Pakistan ambition, then they are mistaken. The prospects of peace and stability in Afghanistan under lordship is not feasible as Pakistan itself is overwhelmed by multiple internal and external challenges. Afghanistan needs a strong UN mandate, including UN-led political making force. India can lend support to such endeavors which are worthy of its character, and all those things are there. Okay, so this is also a kind of narrative setting. Okay, it is setting narrative. And what is a narrative? Anti-India plus pro-Pakistan narrative. This is the narrative. I don't see eye to eye with the author. It's okay. I have my own kind of person, right? Regressive and inhuman, we know it is about the pregnancy law, termination of pregnancy, that is abortion law, right? By removing constitutional right to abortion, US Supreme Court is on the wrong side of liberty. They think so, the court does not think so. So it is the viewpoint of the Hindu editorial writers, right? Okay, half a century must consider its deep peril. The US stand at the fraud junction now after Supreme Court overturned the 1973 Roe versus Wade judgment and took away constitutional right to abortion. In one blow, it withdrew from women anywhere in the country their right to reproduce and bodily autonomy. With Roe as well as 1992 decision in Planned Parenthood versus KZ that upheld Roe, gone to court, returned the issue of abortion to people elected representatives. States can now decide whether to ban abortion, at what stage in pregnancy and what circumstances. The fight was over abortion that has been US most passionately winged ideological battle, with a focus that denies any space for comparison or respect for liberty. Conservative has prioritized the task of having Roe overturned for decades. With the court now having attained the conservative supermajority, The decision has been imminent. Some Republican-ruled states have started banning abortion with trigger laws in place in anticipation of such judgment. The Supreme Court decision Roe vs. Jackson Women's Health Organization had in effect divided US territorially. States where women have right to abortion and those where they do not. Where they do not, women with unplanned or unwanted pregnancy, including possibility in some jurisdiction, those endanger the mother life as a result of rape or incest, may have no option but to seek medical assistance in other states. This needs resources and support structure. In many women will be left with no option other than clandestine, unsafe abortion nearer home. Chillingly, there is fear that miscarriages could be subject to criminal investigation. On a positive side, major US companies have started offering financial support to employees and help for out-of-state abortion seekers who seek medical interventions. This will, however, make already bitter partisan polarization worse. It must also alarm the American that logic of Dobbs that abortion is not mentioned in US Constitution and is not covered by the landmark 14th Amendment has opened the process for other rights to be taken away. For now, President Joe Biden and his Democratic Party has vowed to put Roe on the ballot in November midterm election, but the way US electoral system stacks up the numbers in the Senate against their effort to break the filibuster, the effort to protect women will likely to be carried out in incrementally legal challenge and multiple level support to women in red state and persuasive political campaigns at the grassroots. So the article is very critical of this judgment. Fine, this judgment actually is a regressive judgment in my viewpoint also, because yes, every person has his right on the body, his or her rights on the body, and law should not intervene until it is something that is creating a kind of disharmony in the society or disharmony in international relation, or is a threat to peace and integrity of the country and all those territorial integrity, all those kind of things, right? But here, as we see, it is very non-progressive, I would say, right? And thus it is the it is the prerogative of the state to at least enforce this right for the women in the so-called developed nation of the world, that is USA, right? Let's see now. Bringing MSME into global value chain. You know, MSME are called silent engine of growth in India, engine of Indian economic growth. Fine. The businesses that once have faced harshest of environment over last few years. Shumbi Sharp, she is an environmentalist, na? I have read about her. Let's see. Shumbi Sharp is a Union Mission resident coordinator bringing 26 agents together for Agenda 23. Yes, I was correct again. This is what happens when you read newspaper for over 150 days too, without skipping. Let's see. So the growth and achievement of large business in India receive much attention. MSME actually accounts for over 99% of the business. MSME are largest employer in India outside agriculture, employing more than 11 crore people or 45% of all workers. It is no exaggeration to call MSME as privately owned enterprises with less than 50 crore investment in plant and machinery and turnover below 250 crore. The backbone of Indian economy, right? It is. So it has given the definition here. So June 27 is World MSME Day. Fine. The disruption of pandemic severely impacted MSME, obviously. And especially of the service sector, there are small size, lack of access resources meant that many were in the beginning mount a fragile recovery. Just when renewed war, supply shocks and soaring fuel, food and fertilizer prices presented a host of new threats, and all of this come against the backdrop of going climate crisis. To grasp the opportunity, India needs to create many jobs. Fine. Meeting standards. While some MSME operate at highest industry standard, most do not even meet today's standards. So we have to see that they meet the standards. As a result, informal enterprises cannot become formal. Fencing not the government has right identified development of countries MSME ecosystem as top priority under. So identification. Therefore, this Atmanirbhar Bharat has top priority of development of MSME, right? And there are incentives like PLI and zero effect, zero defect, ZED certification, etc. To accelerate the process, UN system in India is supporting this. Agencies such as UNIDO, ILO, UNDP, UN Women, IFAD, and others are working with MSMEs as they navigate rapidly changing post-pandemic world. Firstly, digitalization concerns the integration of digital technology, big data, artificial intelligence, virtual reality in business process, also known as Industry 4.0, powered by 5G, right? With few exceptions, digitalization, smart manufacturing operations still in infancy. Therefore, there is a need for replicate digital solutions. Find government initiatives such as Digital Saksham and the undertaking of Udayam, eShram, NCS and Atmanirbhar skill, that is a SIM portal, are now promise of target digitalization of the scheme, right? There are environmental impacts. Secondly, greening reduces the environmental impact on MSME. Okay, fine. Low carbon economy towards, and we have the, for example, together with BEE UNIDO provides energy efficiency advisory services to MSMEs and all those things. Thirdly, to increase the resilience of supply in the response to recent shocks, production location for global value chain are increasingly shifting and diversifying across the countries and region. Okay, to further leverage this opportunity, UNIDO is spearheading the notion of manufacturing excellence. This means fostering a culture of continuous improvement and innovation that reduces waste in the okay. Job creation is another thing. 7 lakh micro enterprises are becoming economically viable. Okay, fine. A forward-looking mindset centers on policymakers and society at large fully recognizing. Okay. There's nothing else. Okay, fine. So there are 3-4 challenges that has been given here. Digitalization. Okay, environmental issues. Okay, converging laws, etc. You see it. It's a good article, but more or less repetition of what we study in our notes, right? Hanoi and New Delhi are fortifying defense ties. The major maritime domain has taken center stage in talks. India's Act East policy. Okay, Indo-Pacific are some of the key Hanoi natural partners. Where is this Hanoi? Let me find it out. Okay, here is the connection. Here it goes. Come on. Okay, let's see where is Hanoi. Capital of Vietnam. Fine. So Hanoi is the this is the Vietnam capital, and New Delhi is India's capital, right? Now let's see. Countries recent. Okay, India's Vietnam Defense Pact. Okay, both sides undertook extensive deliberation. Okay, in meeting with this counterpart. Okay. Finance 500 million defense line of credit extension by India to the latter along with implement. Okay. Make in India, make in for the world. Hanoi defense capability. Fine. There is nothing here. Because of the volume of maritime trade that passes through the sea lanes of communication, the Indo-Pacific potential as well as estimated energy reserves in this water. Fine. There is nothing here. The enhanced geostrategic prominences or geostrategic word comes here. Fine. This itself explains this, that China, Japan, India, and this Vietnam will come together. Fine. Vietnam has continued to be one of the most vocal countries with respect to China's periodic transgression. Yes, this is correct. In India, Vietnam has found an equally uncompromising partner. So convergence of national interest is also there. So in this way, we are coming. The strategic interest has come together. National interest has come together. ONGC Videsh is there. Fine. So despite this fact, China factor has provided impetus to the solution and all those things. Okay, fine. Give it a read. It is a very easy article. There is nothing new to it. It is based on the 3 things that I always say. The 3 pillars of international relation: national interest, national security, peace and harmony to promote trade and commerce, right? You analyze any relation on 3 things, you'll get the idea. India's laws on abortion. Let's see what are the conditions under which Indian women can safely terminate pregnancy. Let's see the gist first. In order to reduce maternal mortality owing to unsafe abortion, the MTP Act was brought in 1971. This law is exception to IPC provision 312 and 313 that sets out the rule for how and when a medical abortion can be carried out. Under the MTP Act, abortion is permitted after medical opinion under stipulated circumstances. In 2021 Act, the increased the upper limit of gestation period to which women can seek medical abortion to 24 weeks from 20 weeks. Okay, so the 2021 amendment has made it 24 weeks. It's about 6 months, right? Okay, but this reward upper limit can be exercised in specific cases only. Several women annually approach the Apex Court and High Court when medical board reject their application to MTP beyond the gestational upper limit, seeking permission to abort a pregnancy, mostly in cases where it is a result of sexual assault or there is a fetal abnormality. Okay, fine. So this is enough. If you want, you can give it a read. Under 312 IPC, a person who voluntarily causes a woman with a child to miscarry is liable for punishment, attracting jail. 313 of IPC states that person who causes the miscarriage without consent of the pregnant woman, whether or not she is in advanced stage of pregnancy, shall be punished with life imprisonment or jail that will extend to 10 years. Okay, so know one thing, MTP is what? It is a exception to IPC article IPC section 313, 12 and 13, and the new time frame is 24 weeks, post which the courts have to decide and pre which the medical team may decide, right? So this is there. Now let's see. Supreme Court verdict, we have understood it just now, right? So no need to do it. Now let's see this one, VPN news. This is also very important. Implication of the India's new VPN rules. Okay, so what are the rules? Okay, the VPN providers to record and keep their customer logs for 6 months. It also asks these families to collect and store customer data for 5 years. It further mandated that any cybercrime record must be reported to CERT in within 6 hours. Surfshark VPN stated that taking such radical action highly impacts the privacy of millions of people in India, with most likely to be counterproductive. The meaty said that new rules are applicable to any entity whatsoever, regardless of whether they have physical presence in India or not, as long as they deliver the services in India. Okay, so service delivery is the base, and the rules is storage of customers' data or logs for 180 days. It can be stored up to 5 years. Further mandated that any cyber crime recorded must be reported to CERT within 6 hours of the crime. So this is a good thing. This is a relatively not so good thing. Okay, fine. So I think with this, yes, with this we have come to end of today's newspaper analysis. I hope you like it. So before going forward, I'll urge you to subscribe the channel, like, comment, and share it. Okay. So with this, I'm ending today's analysis. So before going, I'll urge you to keep studying hard and follow your dreams, right? And now I shall take your leave. Jai Hind. So friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Follow us on Telegram as well. Also, keep studying hard, keep following your dreams, and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard.